Think about the very first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning. Most people spring up, swing their legs out of bed, and rush straight into the day, to the bathroom, to the coffee, to the phone. It feels completely harmless. But if you're over 60, those first few minutes after waking are the most physically vulnerable moments of your entire day. And one thing that most people do right after waking can trigger a sudden, dangerous drop in blood pressure, a dizzy spell, even a fall that changes everything. Your body is not ready for what you're asking of it the instant you wake. And the single safest way to start your morning, the one that protects your blood pressure, your heart, and your balance, I've saved for the end. Over the next 28 minutes, I'll walk you through the things you should never do right after waking up after 60, and exactly why each one puts your body at risk in those first fragile minutes. Then I'll give you a gentle 3-minute morning routine that protects you, something I call the 3-minute wake up. That final part is the most important, so stay with me to the end. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, what is the very first thing you do when you wake up, before anything else? Do you check your phone, head straight for the bathroom, reach for coffee, or spring right up? Type it out. By the end, you may see that ordinary habit in a completely different light and know exactly how to make it safer. First, an important word, because the morning is truly a higher risk time for the body, and I want you safe. The early morning hours, right around when we wake, are when heart attacks and strokes are statistically most likely to happen. That's a real, well-documented pattern tied to the very blood pressure surge and stickier blood we'll talk about. So if you ever wake with chest pain or pressure, sudden weakness or numbness on one side, a drooping face, slurred speech, or sudden severe dizziness, do not wait. Call for emergency help immediately. And if you regularly feel faint, dizzy, or unsteady when you get up in the morning, that is worth telling your doctor, because it can often be helped. And I don't want to frighten you. The vast majority of mornings pass without event, and this isn't about living in fear of getting out of bed. Think of it instead as cheap insurance. A few small changes that protect you at a genuinely fragile moment. Everything else we discussed today is about protecting those minutes. Never a replacement for the doctor who knows you. And never stop or change a medication on your own. Let me introduce myself. I've spent more than 20 years caring for older adults, and I've seen how many serious falls and frightening dizzy spells happen in the first minute or two after getting out of bed, and how easily they can be prevented once people understand what's happening. So this is not a small thing. Falls are one of the leading causes of serious injury in older adults, and a meaningful share of them happen in the bedroom and bathroom in those first groggy minutes. The way you wake up matters more than almost any other moment of your day. Let me show you why. Here's what's happening inside your body in those first waking minutes, because it explains every warning that follows. While you slept, several things shifted. You went 6, 7, 8 hours without drinking, so you woke up mildly dehydrated, which means your blood is a little thicker and slower this morning. Your blood pressure, which dips at night, begins to surge upward in the early morning as your body prepares to wake. A natural rise, but a strain. Your muscles and joints are stiff from lying still. And here is the piece that matters most after 60. When you stand up, gravity pulls blood down toward your legs, and your body must instantly tighten the vessels and adjust your heart to keep blood flowing up to your brain. In a younger body, that correction is instant. After 60, that reflex slows down. So when you leap up, blood can drain from your head faster than your body can compensate, and for a few seconds your brain is short of blood. That's the dizziness, the gray out, the unsteadiness. There's more to it too. In the early morning, your body releases a surge of stress hormones like cortisol to wake you, which nudges your blood pressure and heart rate up. Your blood is also naturally a little stickier and more prone to clotting in the morning hours. Layer that onto the dehydration and the pressure surge, and you can see why the medical world has long known that the hours around waking are when heart attacks and strokes cluster. Put it all together: thicker, stickier blood, surging pressure, a stiff body, and a slower reflex. and the first minutes after waking are a genuine, perfect storm. So let's go through what not to do in the middle of it. The first thing you should never do, and the most dangerous of all, is spring out of bed and stand up quickly the instant you wake. This is the single riskiest move of the morning for exactly the reason we just discussed. When you shoot upright from lying down, your blood pressure can drop sharply because your aging body can't tighten the vessels fast enough to keep blood reaching your brain. Doctors call this orthostatic hypotension, and it produces that wave of dizziness, lightheadedness, spots before the eyes, or a spinning room that so many older people feel on standing, sometimes strong enough to buckle the knees or black out for an instant. On its own, it's frightening, but the real danger is what it leads to: a fall. A dizzy spell at the bedside with a hard floor, furniture corners, and no one to catch you is among the most common ways older adults suffer a broken hip or a head injury, and a serious fall at this age can steal independence in an instant. Some people are at even higher risk of this drop: those on blood pressure medications or water pills which lower pressure further, those on certain prostate or heart medicines, anyone who's dehydrated, unwell, or had alcohol the night before, and those with diabetes, which can blunt the reflex. If any of that is you, the danger of springing up is greater still. And notice the warning your body gives: that momentary gray out, spots in your vision, a swimming head. That is your brain telling you it went short of blood. Never push through it and keep walking. That's exactly when people go down. So the leaping out of bed habit, which feels like nothing, is the one I most want you to break. There is a safe way to rise, and it takes only seconds, which I'll give you at the end. A second thing to avoid is throwing your body straight into exertion or strain in those cold first minutes. In those first minutes, with your blood pressure already surging and your muscles cold and stiff, sudden physical effort adds risk on top of risk. That means not leaping up to lift something heavy, not bending sharply to snatch something off the floor, and not straining hard on the toilet. Two things happen here worth understanding. First, straining and heavy effort spike your blood pressure even higher at the exact time it's already elevated, which stresses the heart and vessels. Second, your spinal discs actually absorb fluid and swell overnight, which makes your lower back stiffer and more prone to injury first thing in the morning. So bending and heavy lifting right after waking is one of the easiest ways to hurt your back. This is why that hard strain on the toilet deserves special mention. Bearing down forcefully holds your breath and sends your blood pressure sharply up, then drops it as you release. A jolt to the system that has actually triggered fainting and worse in vulnerable people, especially right after rising. If constipation makes mornings a struggle, that's worth addressing in its own right. Give your body time to loosen and your pressure time to settle before you ask anything strenuous of it. The morning is for easing in, not for heaving furniture or racing around. Save the vigorous activity for later, once you're fully awake, warmed up, and hydrated. A third habit to rethink is reaching for coffee before you've had any water. It feels like the natural first move, but consider what we said. You wake up dehydrated with thicker, slower blood on a morning when your blood pressure is already climbing and heart events are more likely. Coffee, which is mildly dehydrating and a stimulant, is not the ideal first thing to pour onto that. This doesn't mean giving up your coffee, it means water first. A glass of plain water when you wake begins to rehydrate you, thins the blood a little, and gently supports your circulation before the caffeine arrives. A full glass, room temperature, is ideal, enough to properly rehydrate, not just wet your lips. Think of it this way: your blood is at its thickest and slowest of the whole day the moment you wake, after a long night with no fluids, and water is the fastest, simplest way to begin thinning it and easing your circulation's job. Some people enjoy a little lemon in it, which is fine, but plain water does the work. You can still have your coffee soon after, with or just before breakfast rather than on a bare, dehydrated stomach. Keep a glass or bottle of water right by your bed and make that first sip water, not coffee. It's one of the most protective morning habits there is, and your whole body, especially your heart and your head, will feel steadier for it. Be careful too about jumping straight into a very hot shower the moment you're up. A blast of hot water causes your blood vessels to widen quickly, which can drop your blood pressure further, and combined with the orthostatic effect of having just stood up, that can leave you dizzy and unsteady in the one place you least want to be, on a wet, hard surface. Extreme cold water can swing your pressure the other way and stress the heart. This matters even more if you take blood pressure medication, which already lowers your pressure. A hot shower on top can drop it too far. So let your body settle for several minutes before you shower. Keep the water comfortably warm rather than scalding, and make sure you have a non-slip mat and a grab bar or sturdy handle to hold. A shower stool is a wise addition for anyone who feels unsteady. If you've ever felt lightheaded or had to steady yourself in a hot morning shower, that dizziness is your blood pressure dropping, and it's easily avoided with warm water, a settled body, and something solid to hold. There's one more thing many people do the instant they wake that works against them, though in a quieter way, grabbing the phone and diving straight into news, messages, and worry, or lighting up a first cigarette. Reaching for the phone floods your just waking brain with stress and information before you've even sat up, spiking tension at a moment your body is already under strain, a stressful way to greet a fragile morning. And smoking first thing is among the worst things you can do to your morning circulation, because nicotine constricts your vessels precisely when your blood is thick and your pressure is surging. And a related trap is rushing, waking late, panicking, and hurrying to get dressed and out the door, which forces every risky thing at once. The fast stand, the strain, the surge of stress. Building in a few extra minutes so you never have to rush is itself a protection. Neither the phone, the cigarette, nor the frantic rush serves you. The first minutes of your day are far better spent calmly, slowly, and, as you're about to see, deliberately. And here it is, the most important part, the one I saved for the end, because it turns every warning into a single protective habit, the 3-minute wake-up. It costs you nothing but a little patience, and it may be the most valuable 3 minutes of your day. When you first wake, don't move at all. Lie still for about a minute, letting your body know the day is beginning. Take a few slow, deep breaths and wiggle your fingers and toes. Then circle your ankles and move your arms and legs to wake the muscles and start the blood flowing before you ask them to hold you up. Next, roll gently onto your side and use your arm to push yourself up to sitting on the edge of the bed. And here is the crucial step almost everyone skips. Sit there for a full minute. Feet on the floor, breathing easily, letting your blood pressure catch up and your body adjust to being upright. If you feel any dizziness, wait longer until it passes. Only then, stand up slowly and steady yourself with a hand on the bed, the nightstand, or a nearby wall before you take your first step. Then reach for that glass of water before anything else. The sitting minute is the part I'd underline twice, because it's the one almost everyone skips and the one that prevents the most falls. Those 60 seconds on the edge of the bed are when your body does the work of steadying your pressure. Do this every morning and it quickly becomes automatic, something you no longer have to think about. Lie, stir, sit, wait, rise slowly, and hydrate. That is the whole routine. 3 unhurried minutes that let the perfect storm settle before you walk into your day, and one of the simplest, most powerful fall prevention habits I know. A few extra habits make those mornings even safer, especially since many of us are up in the night too, and night wakings are among the most dangerous of all. Keep a glass of water on your nightstand so it's always within reach. If you get up to use the bathroom during the night, use the very same slow approach. Sit on the edge of the bed first, wait a moment, then stand, because night wakings, in the dark and half asleep, with your blood pressure at its lowest, are when a great many falls happen. That single pause in the dark has saved more people from a broken hip than they'll ever know. So keep a nightlight on or a lamp within reach and clear the path between your bed and the bathroom of rugs, cords, and clutter that you could trip over. Wear proper footwear or non-slip socks rather than shuffling in bare feet or loose, floppy slippers. A bed at a sensible height that you don't have to drop down from or climb up to helps as well, and getting out on your stronger side gives you more control. If you find yourself up several times a night to urinate, mention that to your doctor too, because treating it means fewer risky trips in the dark. And once you're safely up and settled, a little easy stretching and some water set your body up beautifully for the day. Small, calm preparations, but together they turn your most vulnerable minutes into safe ones. You may wonder what a doctor can do if morning dizziness is a real problem for you, and the answer is quite a lot. They can check your blood pressure both lying and standing to measure that drop directly, review your medications, since the timing or dose of blood pressure pills, water pills, and others can often be adjusted to ease it, check for dehydration or anemia, and suggest practical measures from how much fluid and salt is right for you to simple techniques and, in some cases, compression stockings. In other words, morning dizziness is not something you simply have to accept. It's a findable, treatable problem worth raising. Let me speak to you plainly for a moment. Not as someone making a video, but as a doctor who has seen where these ordinary mornings can go wrong. I've cared for people who did everything right in their lives, and whose turning point was a single morning, a quick spring out of bed, a wave of dizziness, a fall against a nightstand, and a broken hip that began a long, hard road. And the heartbreaking part is how preventable so many of them were. Not by medicine, not by anything expensive, but by a slower, gentler minute or two upon waking. I've also watched people who took this seriously go on rising safely, steadily, and confidently for years. The difference was rarely luck. It was understanding that the body needs a moment to wake before the person does, and honoring that with a little patience. I've watched someone who'd had 2 frightening falls learn the 3-minute wake-up, and never fall again. Nothing changed but the first minutes of their day. And I think often of how small the fix is compared to what it prevents. A broken hip can lead to surgery, a loss of independence, months of hard recovery, and it too often marks a turning point people never fully come back from. Weighed against that, 60 seconds sitting on the edge of the bed is the easiest trade in all of medicine. I won't tell you that a slow morning prevents every problem, because some things are beyond our control, and the early hours carry their own risks. But I will tell you this, plainly, the way you wake up is one of the few things entirely within your power, and it protects you at one of the most fragile moments of your day, at no cost at all. The people who rise slowly, hydrate first, and never lunge out of bed give themselves a real edge, steadier pressure, a calmer heart, and far fewer falls. You can start tomorrow morning with nothing more than patience and a glass of water by the bed. It asks no equipment, no money, no fitness, only the willingness to give your body the moment it needs. Not next week, not after a scare, tomorrow. That's how it begins. So let's bring it together. After 60, the first minutes after waking are your body's most vulnerable, thanks to thicker blood, surging blood pressure, a stiff body, and a slower reflex to keep blood flowing to your brains. So never spring out of bed and stand up fast. Never throw yourself into heavy exertion, sharp bending, or hard straining before your body has warmed. Don't reach for coffee before water. Don't leap into a scalding shower. And don't greet your fragile morning with a screen full of worry or a cigarette. Instead, use the 3-minute wake-up. Lie still and stir. Sit on the edge of the bed for a full minute. Rise slowly with something to steady you, and drink water before your coffee. And carry the same care into your nighttime bathroom trips, your shower, and the rest of your morning. Calm, unhurried, and safe. If this made you rethink the very first minutes of your day, tap like. It helps this reach other people over 60 who leap out of bed every morning with no idea of the risk. And subscribe, because every week I explain one more simple way to protect your health and independence as you age. And I read the comments, so tell me, what did you say was the first thing you do when you wake up? And will you try the 3-minute wake up tomorrow morning? Say it out loud because the people who commit are the ones who actually change the habit. And one honest comment from you might be the reminder that protects someone else's morning and their hip too. If it helped, share it with someone you love over 60, especially anyone who's unsteady on their feet or lives alone, because this might be the very video that prevents a fall, and a fall prevented is independence protected. Take care of yourself and start your mornings gently. One last thing, everything here is general educational information based on current understanding and years of clinical experience. It is not personalized medical advice. If you often feel dizzy or faint when standing, tell your doctor because it can be treated and sometimes signals something worth addressing. And seek emergency care for chest pain, sudden weakness, slurred speech, or a drooping face, which can be signs of a heart attack or stroke. That isn't just a legal disclaimer. It's sincere advice from Dr. Hale, someone who would very much like you steady on your feet and greeting many more good mornings for years to come. Take care of yourself. And tomorrow, before you rise, take 3 unhurried minutes and a glass of water.